Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always premieres exactly 1 week from today from the uploading of this video, and to prepare for it, I wanted to come up with a list of episodes to watch before going into it. To help better organize my choices, I separated this video into two separate paths, one of which is being a more story-based version, and the other half being 5 focus episodes for each of the returning Rangers. Not just throughout their time on Mighty Morphin, but throughout their time in other seasons as well. So let's get started with the first part of this video, which is more of the story-based episodes. And we're gonna go in season order as well, so that's not even really a ranking list or anything like that. And we're obviously gonna start off with Day of the Dumpster, the very first episode of MMPR and Power Rangers in general. Outside of nostalgia, it's just a pretty basic, straight to the point episode that establishes the team, this universe, and the lore. And also, it might be nice to just get a little refresher on it, even if you've seen it 1,000 times like myself. Also, we may be revisiting the events of this episode, quite possibly. I know Rita is planning on going back in time to at least right before the events of this episode starts, so it'd kind of be a nice little full circle moment if we actually do end up going back in time. Next up is the power transfer, where we see Jason, Zack, and Trini leave for the peace conference in Switzerland, with Rocky, Adam, and Aisha taking their places. Moving on, we have A Different Shade of Pink parts 1 through 3, where Catherine replaces Kimberly as the Pink Ranger. This was actually a very well done arc that was set up all the way back in A Ranger Catastrophe, and it's great to see that transition really pay off here. Next up is Hog Day Afternoon parts 1 and 2. This is kind of weird to recommend because this is the end of the Zeo quest and Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, ending in an explosive cliffhanger which leads into Zeo, but this was the very last time we saw Aisha. It's definitely worth the watch to see the reasons why she stays behind and sends Tanya instead, and who knows, if you've never seen this before and you've never seen Zeo, it might possibly compel you to watch the Zeo premiere, who knows. Now that we're done with Mighty Morphin, we're moving on to Zeo, which is Rangers of Two Worlds parts 1 and 2. This is the last time we see Billy as he moves to Aquitar to regain his youth. It's pretty depressing also because David Yost is not in this episode at all whatsoever, except for that one scene where they used recycled footage from an earlier episode of Zeo, and that scene is not even voiced by him as well because he had already left the set of Power Rangers episodes way before. In addition to this, we get the end credits paying tribute to Billy from over the years instead of the episode bloopers that we usually get, and this is also pretty depressing for multiple reasons because he was the last of the original 5 Mighty Morphin Rangers to leave the show, and also learning of the circumstances of why David Yost even left the show in the first place 14 years later after this episode aired. It's just really heartbreaking, but I'm seriously glad he's back for the special and I can't wait to see him in action again. Moving on, we have Power Rangers Turbos Passing the Torch parts 1 and 2, where we saw yet another huge shakeup into the Power Rangers team, where Tommy, Kat, Adam, and Tanya left the show. These were a group of Rangers we'd seen for years, who were also a team of replacements that established their name and faces as Power Rangers for years, pass on the legacy to a brand new team worthy to be their successors. I'll also give an honorable mention to the Power Rangers Turbo movie and the premiere episodes, because those are the last 2 times we see Rocky, and it's unfortunate because despite breaking his back and recovering from it and getting to graduate with his friends, I feel like his conclusion as a Power Ranger was not that good. It was actually pretty awkward because he should have been there to say goodbye to Zordon and Alpha at the power chamber, but I don't really know the behind the scenes reason behind that, whether Steve Cardenas had left the show by the time the filming of that scene had gone down, or maybe he just wasn't written in the script or he chose not to be in that part of it. I don't know, but I just always felt that was a little awkward. Next is Power Rangers in Space's Always a Chance, where Adam returns to help mentor Carlos in gaining his confidence of being a Power Ranger again, all while almost killing himself, morphing into the Black Ranger one more time, until he would do it again 9 years later. Also a good watch from Power Rangers in Space is the 2-part finale, Countdown to Destruction, which is probably one of the biggest events in Power Rangers history, where it was a whole culmination of the franchise up until that point. All the villains had united to take over the universe, and it was up to Zordon's sacrifices that would save them all. Next, we skip all the way ahead to Once a Ranger parts 1 and 2 from Power Rangers Operation Overdrive, where we see Adam return as the Black Ranger, leading the Retro Ranger team to help fight against Rita and Zed's son Thrax, and his alliance of the Overdrive villains. And finally, we have Dimensions in Danger, where we see Rocky and Kat return, unfortunately having 1 to 2 lines for the entire episode, but it was still great to see them for the first time in 20 years on screen. And also, this episode is very special in a way because it's the final appearance of Jason David Frank as Tommy Oliver, and he gets one incredible send-off, despite all of us not knowing at the time. May he rest in peace. So now that we're done with the story-focused episodes, let's move on to the more character-focused episodes for each Ranger that's going to be in the special. And each Ranger is going to have 5 episodes to themselves. I guess you could call it Sentai 5's 5 episodes. First up, we're going to start off with the Zack Man, starting off with Happy Birthday Zack, which is probably my favorite Zack-focused episode. Next is Itsy Bitsy Spider, Birds of a Feather, Lions and Blizzards, and Oyster Stew. I felt that these episodes really exemplify who Zack is as a character, his personality, and his balance between life and Power Ranger, and his willingness to help others. So yeah, can't wait to see it return. Next up, we have Billy's focus episodes, which are I Guy, Peace, Love, and Woe, Blue Ranger Gone Bad, Climb Every Fountain, and Graduation Blues. I felt that these episodes were a very good mix with his personality, his talents, and the buildup of his confidence, especially seeing him at a few crossroads in his life. Moving on, we have the Rocky focus episodes with the classic Rocky Just Wants to Have Fun. Next is Wizard for a Day, Fourth Down and Long, Trust in Me, and my personal favorite, Mondo's Last Stand from Power Rangers Zeo. I feel like these episodes definitely nail Rocky down in his personality and just his overall character and his insecurities as well. Moving on to Kat's focus episodes, we have A Ranger Catastrophe Parts 1 and 2, Another Brick in the Wall, A Mystery to Me, and Wait and See. These episodes really get to show the different sides of Kat, from evil to good to also tackling an insecurity of hers. Moving on, we have Aisha's focus episodes, which I have to admit there aren't that many of them, so I kinda had to cheat to make it to 5 episodes. So starting off, we have Where There's Smoke, There's Fire. Next is Forever Friends. Next up is Stop the Hate Master, parts 1 and 2, and The Sound of Discordia. Next we have Adam's focus episodes, which are Goldar's Vice Versa, Mirror of Regret, Instrument of Destruction, which is one of my favorites, It Came from Angel Grove, and Built for Speed. These episodes really show off his buildup of confidence, taking leadership, and just overall awesome fighting style. And finally, I wanted to include Trini in this because the special is going to pay tribute to her, so it only felt right to include some focus episodes for her. Starting off with High Five, Food Fight, Dark Warrior, Plague of the Mantis, and Welcome to Venus Island. These episodes really show off Trini stepping up, conquering her fears, and helping save those closest to her. So that's it for my episode list. If there's anything I didn't put in, don't be offended. These are just the episodes I wanted to put in. You can make your own list too if you're not happy with this. And if you choose to do a marathon using my list or parts of it, thank you very much, and hope you enjoy it. Otherwise, I will see you all next week on the other side as we talk about once and always. Until then, be well, stay safe, and I'll see you all next week.